We're going to get the wall done anyway. Mexico, I don't want to cause a problem. I don't want to cause. But in the end, Mexico's going to pay for the wall. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. All right? I don't want to cause any problem. But in the end, Mexico's paying for the wall. They make all of this money, and they do absolutely nothing to stop people from going through Mexico, from Honduras and all these other countries, the caravan, all of this stuff. They do nothing to help us. Nothing. They're going to pay for the wall, and they're going to enjoy it, okay? They're going to enjoy it. They do nothing for us. So if you want strong borders, and if you want not only that, we have to do something with the lottery. We have to do something with chain migration. We have a guy in New York a year ago. He ran over and killed 8 people, right? 8 people. And nobody ever talks about the people that were injured. Did you ever notice? They say 8 people would die. Well, about 12 are just horribly injured. They lose an arm, they lose a leg. These are people that are running alongside of the Hudson River, which I know so well. And they're running. And this maniac takes his car, he's driving fast, he goes, he knocks off as many people as he can. 8 people killed, many people badly injured, missing a leg, missing an arm. Can you imagine? These are people different from me in the sense that they want to run. I don't want to run. They want to run. And they go and they work hard and they want to look good. And they come home because of this maniac and others like him. Look at what's going on all over the world. Look at what's going on. Look at what's happening to Europe. So they go and they take this man, right? And he got here and he's got 22 people that came in. His mother, his father, his grandmother, his uncle, his brother, his sister. You got 22 people come in for this one guy. That's called chain migration. 22 people. And then, of course, you have the wonderful lottery system that was started by Chuck Schumer, or sometimes referred to as Crying Chuck Schumer, right? Crying. Oh, he's so. I know him for so many years. I know him from New York so long. Crying Chuck. Remember, he was crying. He was so sad. He got up, he was crying. He was working those tears. He was trying so hard. He was trying so hard that actually they weren't tears. It was sweat. He was working. So Crying Chuck wanted to have a lottery system. They give it a lottery. You pick people. Now, let me ask you. So these countries that are sending people in, do you think they're sending us their finest? You think they're sending us? So we get the lottery. So they put names and we pick the names and they come in. And then we wonder why we have problems. We're not going to be a stupid country anymore. We've stopped it. We're not going to be.
Welcome back. You're watching Fox and Friends. First, President Trump taking aim at Democrats during a fiery Nashville rally.
The fact is, the Democrats are lousy politicians, and of course, the MS-13 lover, Nancy Pelosi. If you want your communities to be safe, then you must go out and get the Democrats the hell out of office. You won't have a Second Amendment if the Democrats take over.
So did his message resonate with his audience? And is this what the American people want to hear? Here now to debate that is Fox News contributor Tammy Bruce and Democratic strategist Mustafa Tamiz. Thank you both for joining us this morning.
Hi, good morning.
So we were using the word fiery. I think that was a good description of the speech last night. Tammy, I will start with you. Was it the right message given the audience that he was speaking to both there in person and at home watching?
Yes, this is classic Trump, clearly within in his element, approaching a crowd that had waited outside for a day beforehand, that waiting for effectively was like a rock star arrival. They were clearly very excited. You could hear how huge the crowd was. It's Tennessee, of course. He won that state. So this was an excellent event. And at the same time, obviously, it's televised and it goes on the internet. And this hit not only familiar themes, but reminding the people, sometimes in an exaggerated way, in this kind of entertainment framework as well, about what the problems are with the Democrats as he sees them and as Americans see them. Supporting Hamas to some degree, defending MS-13. And this is the problem for the Democrats. Whether they believe what they say or not, they can't support anything the president says. So they're pushed into a position of absurdity on some of the issues, and he's pointing that out.
Yeah, let me get Mustafa in here. So Mustafa, obviously he went hard after Nancy Pelosi. He talked about the Second Amendment. He talked about building the wall with our own big hands, amongst a lot of other things. In this particular race, the primary is coming up on August 2nd. We have Marsha Blackburn paired up against a former governor there in Tennessee, Phil Bredesen. And as we mentioned, President Trump won that state by more than 60% back in 2016. So is it in play for Republicans?
Well, look, President Trump enjoys the rally. I agree with Tammy. He's a rock star with his base. He does exaggerate. But he's more comfortable being entertainer-in-chief than sometimes being commander-in-chief. And in this state, I want to remind people that the incumbent senator was likely to win handedly until President Trump started to attack Bob Corker. And now this state is in play. And for those people that believe that this is a solid Republican state, I want to remind them this is a state that sent Al Gore to the Senate before he became the vice president. So now this critical Republican state is in play because the president attacked Bob Corker, a Republican senator. And since the president has been elected to office, 50 Republicans have lost their jobs. And so come November, Republicans may not be laughing like they were at this rally tonight.
Well, what we've noticed, though, too, is not just with the generic congressional ballot where those numbers have been shrinking, so has Bredesen's lead. So Blackburn is now certainly within the margin of error. Those numbers have shrunk. We've seen the president's approval ratings, of course, stay steady between 49 to 51%. This is why Republicans are also running with him. So we're seeing these numbers shift as the tax cuts had an impact on people, his success to some degree, of course, with North Korea, people seeing, of course, the striking against ISIS and that success. They're seeing a commander-in-chief, I have to disagree with my friend there opposite the aisle, that not only on foreign policy, but domestic policy, tax cuts, the issue still of immigration. She will benefit from that, as will, I think, other GOP candidates, even in states that Trump did not win or did not win by as much of a margin.
It's interesting that you bring up, the issues that he's talked about, because to be fair, Mustafa, we always hear from Republican pundits, they talk about, Democrats can't just run against the president. They have to have some issues. So even though in the speech last night we did hear President Trump going specifically and personally after several Democrats, he also talked about the issues that are important to people and offering alternatives in terms of the economy, which is always, the number one issue for people.
Well, look, the president inherited a great economy from Barack Obama. The numbers were off the charts, and he just built on that economy. The challenge is the stock market took 350 points down yesterday, and that was specifically because of the trade war that he started with China. So the president has to focus on the upcoming negotiations that he has with North Korea, rather than being at rallies and just enjoying the applause lines. He is not the entertainer-in-chief as much as he wants to be. He's the commander-in-chief, and his first job is to keep us safe and negotiating with North Korea, and he's got to study for that, because he himself talks about that he doesn't like, studying the daily presidential briefs, which every president before him has done.
Good try, Mustafa. Well, I think that with the president's doing so well, it's only $3 trillion that the stock market's infused into the economy. All right, that's how good things are.
We also have $1 trillion deficit because of the president.
Well, we have to wrap it up on that. But this summit with North Korea is huge, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what happens today. Tammy Bruce, Mustafa Tamiz, thank you.
All right, President Trump firing up the crowd in Nashville last night. So what were the top moments, and how did Americans react? Let's ask President and partner with Ms. Lansky and Partners, Lee Carter, what the dials had to say. Good morning to you, Lee.
Great to be here.
All right, let's get right to it now and start with President Trump saying that he's the only politician to get things done.
I'm the only politician that produced more than I said I was going to produce, and we're only 1.5 years in.
Well, what do you think?
So you can see there, this wasn't the best night for the president. You could see Republicans gave this a C+, Independents a D, and Democrats even gave this an F. What they said is, we're used to his bravado. They're used to him touting himself, but they like it when he's touting more specifics, not just in general, I'm the only one, I'm the best one.
Maybe not himself, more specifics of what they're getting done, perhaps? Is
exactly
that what you're saying?
right. Yes.
Okay, interesting. So let's go ahead and move on to this next topic, which is President Trump actually had a message for Congressman Marsha Blackburn's Democratic opponent in Tennessee. Listen.
You have to vote Republican in November. You see what's happening with the Democrats. So Marsha's very liberal Democrat opponent, Phil Bredesen. I never heard of this guy. Who is he? Who is he? He's an absolute, total tool of Chuck Schumer. He's a tool of Chuck Schumer and, of course, the MS-13 lover, Nancy Pelosi.
What do people say?
So you can see the Republicans gave this a B, Independents a D, Democrats an F. While Trump is a master at defining his opponents, you can remember low energy Jeb, little Marco, crooked Hillary. This one didn't necessarily work as well, and I think he's going to have to do more work to define the opposition as he's going into the campaign season, as he's definitely out there rallying as we're going into the midterms.
Well, you know, I think most people would like, but we'll see after we play this down, and you can tell us, but I would think that most people would like to hear him say we're going to be a better country. Let's listen.
We're not going to be a stupid country anymore. We've stopped it. We're not going to be. And you can say what you want, but I think border security and security general is a great issue for the Republican Party. I think it's a great issue, not a bad issue.
What do people think of the word stupid?
Not so much. While Republicans gave this an A-, Independents only gave it a C, Democrats an F. Really important to look at those independents because they're going to be critical in the midterms. And it seems like the president is losing a little bit of support. Everyone across the board said, we weren't stupid necessarily, but maybe we need to be smarter. And a lot of people did agree when he was talking about border security.
Interesting. Okay. And he also says that we will make America wealthy, strong, safe, and great again. Let's listen to that one.
We are Americans, and our hearts bleed red, white, and blue. We will never give in. We will never give up. And we will never stop fighting for our country. Without a doubt, we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again.
The red is off the chart.
The red is off the charts. Can't even see it. Republicans gave it an A+. Independents a B. Democrats even gave this a C overall. This is vintage Donald Trump. This is why he was elected to be president of the United States. And people like to hear this message much more than some of the other things that they heard last night.
Interesting to see the C from Democrats. I just feel like at this point, correct me if I'm wrong, that he can't say anything that they're going to give him a very positive grade for.
Yeah, and that's been the case the whole way through. Democrats are not necessarily his target audience. He knows that. What he really needs to be focused on right now is those independent voters. Those independent voters right now are softening towards him. We've seen them swing back and forth, so anything can happen. But right now, they're not necessarily on his side.
Definitely. Lee Carter, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.